What up, YouTube? You sons of guns. I said I wasn't gonna make another Citadel guide, but we've been highly requested for a PvP spell guide, so that's what you're getting. If you haven't already, if you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to see something else with Citadel that I haven't done yet, let me know in the comments. All that jazz. Today I'm going to go over what I think, personally, is the best PvP spells currently in Citadel as of this very moment. Feel free to change what suits you, but I'll run over what I run and why I run it in this video, and take it as you will. You know what I mean? This video is going to be short and sweet. Just going to cut right to the point with a couple tips possibly as well. Let's just get right to it. I have items and gear on this character that, don't worry about all that. We're not going to go over any of that for this video due to the fact that you're all going to be in different spots unless you're at very end game. So right now I'm just wearing cultist gear. It is what it is. If you're not in cultist gear yet, that's fine. We're just going over spells for PvP. The main thing you want to note is I'm running a crit high damage build, so I focus on like high crits with my lightning strike, and there is other meta builds that you can do, but for the purpose of this video we're just gonna do crits, like what you would be trying to do with crits. But also these spells are overall gonna be used on most builds in PvP. You always want to run health pots and mana pots, obviously, when you're PvPing. You also want to be able to run food. Food buffs are really nice when you're fighting someone. We'll start with the first weapon. First weapon is going to be a melee weapon. One of these melee weapons, or one of the boss melee weapons. You're going to run Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike is probably the strongest spell in the game, in terms of PvP. This ability with the right gear can one-shot almost anyone in the game, if you're running a crit build. So 110%, you want to run this. It's your bread and butter in air battles. It's your bread and butter in ground battles too. I mean, certain situations up close in close quarters, Dark Bolt might be better, but Lightning Strike still, I mean, the one-shot ability alone makes it just so strong. When you're running this ability, your enhancements you want to run are just pure damage. The best damage material you can add to the spell, that's what you want to put on it. It is a Storm Essence and then 5 damage like Obsidian or Umbracite, anything like that. Whatever you're capable of farming out. The next ability you want to run is Arcane Blast. I run that on the same weapon. That is also one of your damage abilities that you're going to use in mostly air combat, but you can use it on the ground too. The reason you run Arcane Blast is not for the damage though. Most people are going to run Stealth, and we'll get to that later. The only way you can see someone once they're in Stealth is to have this Arcane Blast with Bleed on it. If you land Arcane Blast with Bleed, you'll still see the damage numbers tick, so you'll know where the person is even if they're invisible. So generally with this spell, you want to run some sort of increased range material, like 3 increased range or 4, and then 1 bleed. You could do like 1 or 2 damage and then 2 increase range and then 1 bleed, but you 100% want 1 bleed. That is what is most important for Arcane Blast. Like I said, we'll get more to stealth later, but the purpose of this ability as soon as you engage in the fight, you're popping this Arcane Blast as much as possible to keep a bleed on the other target, so that if they go invis, you know where they are. The next weapon is going to be your staff or wand. You can do a staff or wand for the second weapon. The staff's going to be higher damage output but less cooldown, whereas the wand's going to be less damage output but more cooldown. The main ability you want to use for this is Dark Bolt. Just like in the PvE video, Dark Bolt is still one of the best spells in the game, even in PvP. It is not really easy to use in air, and I don't recommend trying to use it in flying combat, but on the ground, you are going to absolutely shred, especially if you're using a wand. Especially if you're in if you're in a building fighting with Dark Bolt. I mean, it's game over if you have a wand in a building and the other person does not. You're going to run, preferably you want like 4 to 6% lifesteal for your enhancements here. So what I would recommend, if you can do it, is 2 Phoenix Eggs and then 3 damage. That'll give you 6% lifesteal, and then like if you're using Obsidian, it's 21% damage increase if you use 3 Obsidian. So like 2 Phoenix Eggs, 3 Obsidian, or if you can do Tricorn Blood and Umbracite, that'd be even better. Whatever you can utilize, that's what you want to run with Dark Bolt. And as I said, it's mainly your on-ground ability for PvP. The second ability on your staff/wand can kind of be how you want to run it. I'm not going to go over all the spells, but basically I run Blink usually when I know I'm going to be PvPing. Blink is really good for getting in and out of situations, just with its utility. I mean, being able to jump at this range is pretty clutch. I'm getting sabotaged right now. But like if this was a person and I'm in the middle of a fight, I can blink behind them and kind of throw them off, or I can blink away if I need to get out. It's very clutch in those scenarios. So definitely nice to have. The only thing you can really add to blink is spell energy, so if you want to, you can add it, but it's not a necessity. The next weapon you're going to use and utilize is going to be gauntlets. Gauntlets are going to be your utility weapon. For your main spell on your gauntlets, you're going to run stealth. The reason why you're running gauntlets is because they give more movement speed than other weapons, and they also provide cooldown reduction still. Now, stealth is a very important ability. When you use stealth, you can then use dark flight, and as you can see, I'm invisible but still flying at max speed. This is going to be how you set up kills and also get out of getting killed. This is your main utility spell that you have. It is a must-have for PvP. If you get hit with a lightning strike and you're almost dead, you pop stealth and then you use dark flight, and then you just fly away. And if they don't have bleed on you, like I was talking about, they don't know where you are. They'll never find you. You're gone. It's over. They can't get you. The key is to pop stealth and then use dark flight, because that's how you enact the speed. I don't think. Let's test it. Oh, you can use it when you're flying too. Okay, so dark flight combined with stealth is one of the most broken things in PvP. 110% must have. Again, just as I said with Blink, really only spell energy if you want it. it is what it is. The other ability I use on here is Pounce. Not for damage, but more so the utility, the same as Blink. You can implement any other spell on this that you'd want. Pounce is not a necessity. I like Pounce just because of having basically a double blink. You can put more range on Pounce to increase the distance that you travel. Disclaimer, that does not work on Blink, but it does on Pounce. You can add range, so you go farther, and then probably spell energy or damage, depending on how you want to use Pounce. Depends on your playstyle, so if you like to be more aggressive in your face, then maybe you want to run damage on Pounce. But for me, it's just a utility spell. Your last weapon is going to be a wand. And this is going to be your highest cooldown reduction weapon, which is why you're going to put your buffs on this weapon. These are both must-have buffs. Bloodlust, must-have. I mean, the health and the damage, it's a must. You need to be running that in PvP. Nothing else to really say about that. Spell energy, if you want it, not a necessity, but if you want it. Haste, another almost must-have. When you're in ground combat, having haste makes it so much harder for the enemy to hit you with not only lightning strike, but also dark bolt. It is key for being able to move around. The more movement speed you have, the better. A good trick is to run haste and then use your gauntlets when your lightning strike is on cooldown, or if you need to get away. But those two spells are pretty much a must-have. I would highly recommend running them in PvP, especially if you're doing mostly ground combat. Again, with haste, you can do spell energy, but also not a necessity. Other than that, there's nothing really you need to do in terms of enhancements to haste. Now, a couple other things to note. 3.47, 4.67 is possibly the most underrated PvP buff in the game. I will show you what it gives. Whoops. I will get chased while doing it, but since we're running a crit build, more crit is clutch. But also, this gives movement speed. So that combined with your haste, and you're flying around. You are absolutely flying around. Very clutch monolith buff. But if you're not feeling the crit chance or you're running something different, you can always run this monolith, 4.49, 1.63, which gives attack damage and mana, or this monolith, 3.52, 1.19, which gives health and armor. Personally, this is my favorite for PvP. But like I said, if you are running something different, maybe that isn't what you're looking to do. And outside of that, that's the spells that I run. Just for reference, that's one melee weapon, one staff or wand, gauntlets, and then another wand. You can implement something else if you want to, but this is what I personally feel is like best for my crit build, and best for crit builds in general. As for the attributes, mine are messed up because of the custom game I'm in is messed up, but I generally run around 900 base health, with which means no gear on. If I take all my gear off, it's at 900, and then I run around 300 carry capacity, and then the rest I put into damage. You can implement your own attribute system, but that's what I personally did. The only other thing to note is if you hit 60, go to the new map. Get Umbrasite, get Tricorn Blood. That's going to dramatically enhance your spells. But that pretty much covers it. So if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. I did this video pretty quick because I feel like I kind of covered most of it in other videos, but a lot of people requested it, so here you are. As I said, you request it, I'll try and get it done. This though, most likely is for real my last Citadel guide. I don't know what else I could do on Citadel. Unless you guys have something to tell me in the comments. Anyways, I stream 8:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. Right now we just started a 7 Days to Die Ravenhurst mod playthrough. If you've never played 7 Days to Die, it's a zombie survival PvE game. It's really fun. The Ravenhurst mod makes it even better. So if you're interested in that, check me out. If not, check me out anyways. The best way you can support me is just showing up to these videos and showing up to my streams. So I appreciate all of you that have been showing support over the last few weeks, and yeah, I hope to continue to make good enough content to keep y'all around. I will also be leaving a link to my Discord. If you ever want to chit chat, you can join there. We got a lot of good people in there. A lot of people that still play Citadel too. If you have questions and I'm not available to answer them, they normally get to it. And there's people in there that you can possibly even play with. So if you're interested in that, make sure you join the Discord. And I will catch you next week. Later, trash cans.